When designing for the web, it's critical that designers consider the whole audience. When the primary means of users consuming content is with their eyes, designers must consider those who may not have their full range of vision. With about 4% of all internet traffic users being visually impaired in one way or another, accessibility features should be included in the design to accommodate those visitors. Designers can accommodate the visually impaired by being conscious in their colors, providing contrast, and coding for accessibility. Color issues can occur in web design when chosen colors are distracting or lack contrast. Color is so important in design that bad color choices can affect anybody negatively, even those without any visual impairment. Bad color choice can have an especially negative effect on those with color blindness. Never fully rely on color to convey a message. For example, look at Apple controls. With no color, it's hard to tell which is on or off. And this form validation is indicating an error with the color red, which may look green to some. A better design would be to declare the error in writing. Good designs maximize contrast. When a designer chooses a color palette, they should consider way more than just the color themselves. How do these colors look together? Do they provide enough contrast? If they're grayed out, can you still tell the difference? Good contrast in design applies to tone, colors, and details. This color palette, for example, provides good contrast and tone for the most part, except for maybe the third and fifth color. This designer should consider adjusting one. Contrast in design provides reasonable white space. This example of text offers little contrast in color, tone, and white space. Imagine a user with blurred vision trying to read this. Here's a better example of contrast. See how we changed the text color and spacing to make it more readable. We've covered a few examples of bad design choices for visually impaired users that can see, but none of this matters to a completely blind user or any user that relies on a screen reader for content. It is absolutely critical for designers to incorporate screen reader compatibility when a site or app is being built. The HTML document should have a logical tag hierarchy. Elements should be provided with context. Start by declaring the language at the top of the HTML document that you are creating. Semantic elements are tags such as table, form, article, and button. Non-semantic tags are div and span. Avoid using non-semantic tags for elements that have a semantic tag available. If you do use abbreviations, be sure to use the abbreviation tag. And lastly, always include descriptive alt text for images. This way, the screen reader will be able to describe the image to users that are unable to see the image.
Tools for visual accessibility. What are visual accessibility tools? Visual accessibility tools are applications or physical tools used to make something easier to read or view in general. The two main types of tools are screen magnifiers and screen readers. Screen magnifiers are used to make portions of a user's screen larger and therefore easier to see and or read. And the screen readers are meant to read any text in a web page, be it normal site text or alt text in an image. Screen magnifiers are falling out of use recently because their functionality is being built directly into web browsers. Screen readers, however, are still very useful.
There is one free resource that every web developer and web designer should utilize during the workflow process. This free resource is known as WAVE, Web Accessibility Evaluation Tool. Once you're on this website, you will see the option to input the web page address. Once you do that, click the arrow button, and then you'll be led to a page where on the right you'll have a live version of your website or the website that you want to look at located on the right, and then on the left you'll have a summary which includes errors, alerts, contrast errors, features, structural elements, and ARIA. You can click on the multiple issues that you would like to see where they're located and maybe potential ways to resolve it. So other than looking for accessibility, before you even test it, you should know a few basic things such as colors and your color palette. You should always test for multiple variations of color blindness because there are many. One size does not fit all when it comes to color blindness. Two free resources that we highly recommend is Adobe Colors CC. Just merely go to colors.adobe.com. Here, you have to click on Accessibility Tools, and then you can see if your color palette is compliant with 3 different options for color blindness. If one color is too close to the other, which may pose to be a problem, there will be a white line through it. This white line indicates that it recommends it to be changed and maybe distance itself from the other color because it could cause confusion for colorblind users. Another free resource is colors.co. Colors.co is spelled a little differently. It is COOLORS. This website is a little different. It will test for 8 different color blindness. and it will show you differences between the Who's top and bottom. This website will not alert you if one's too close to the other. You'll have to use your judgment in this one, but they are both good and free.
NV Access by NVDA is a free open source screen reader that users can download and use on transfer to many computers. It will read text directly indicated by your mouse cursor. A common one used by OS X users is Apple VoiceOver, which is now built into OS X as an accessibility, speech, and audio setting. It will allow you to magnify your screen, read text, and navigate by use of your keyboard instead of your mouse. ChromeVox is a Google Chrome extension made by Google that will read text from your screen directly from under your cursor. A main issue with this is that while it is useful, it cannot be disabled without being uninstalled.